Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charleston, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have a very serious episode for you guys that we want you guys to stick around for, so make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, the last time the NBA found itself in a situation like it is right now was when it went through the Donald Sterling fiasco, right? That was a total fiasco, total mess. And that situation, I believe, left a black eye on the sport momentarily, right? But Commissioner Adam Silver acted very swiftly, and the players made a concerted effort to make sure that Donald Sterling was removed, and he was forced to essentially sell the Clippers to now owner Steve Ballmer, who came in and bought the team. And now we find ourselves in a similar situation with the drama surrounding Suns owner Robert Sarver. Hope I pronounce his name properly. Now, here's a quick summary of this entire situation, and we're going to be reading from ESPN.com. So we got a lot that we're going to cover in this video, so just bear with us today. So basically, the article starts off with the headline: Allegations of Racism and Misogyny Within the Phoenix Suns. Inside report Sarver's 17-year tenure as owner. Article continues on the evening of October 30th, 2016 at Talking Stick Resort Arena in downtown Phoenix, Earl Watson, in just his third game as the Suns head coach, faced a tall task: beat the powerhouse Golden State Warriors. The young Phoenix Suns team had been toiling at the bottom of the NBA standings for years, missing the playoffs for 6 straight seasons while churning through head coaches. Watson was the fourth in many years. Still, the Suns were playing the eventual NBA champions close, even leading by 13 points in the first half, but it didn't last. The Warriors took control in the fourth quarter and cemented a 106-100 win, dropping the Suns to 0-3. After the loss, Suns majority owner Robert Sarver entered the coach's locker room. Watson told ESPN, "You know, why does Draymond Green get to run up and down the court and say the N-word?" Sarver, who is white, allegedly said, repeating the N-word several times in a row. "You can't say that." Watson, who is black and Hispanic, told Sarver. "Why?" Sarver replied. "Draymond Green says N-word. You can't effing say that." Watson said again. The anecdote offers a glimpse into conduct that sources told ESPN Sarver had often exhibited since buying the Suns in 2004. Interviews with over 70 former and current Suns employees throughout Sarver's 17-year tenure describe a toxic and sometimes hostile workplace under Sarver. Some told ESPN that he has used racially insensitive language repeatedly in the office. Employees recounted conduct they felt was inappropriate and misogynistic, including Sarver's once passing around a picture of his wife in a bikini to employees and speaking about times his wife performed oral sex on him. Some said the longtime owner fostered an environment in which employees felt they were his property, even once asking a woman whether he owned her to determine whether she worked for the Suns. The level of misogyny and racism is beyond the pale. One Suns co-owner said about Sarver, "It's embarrassing as an owner," said a former Suns basketball executive. "There's literally nothing you could tell me about him from a misogynistic or race standpoint that would surprise me." Through his legal team, Sarver denied using racial insensitive language. "I've never called anyone or any group of people the N-word or referred to anyone or any group of people by the N-word, either verbally or in written. I don't use that word. It's abhorrent and ugly, denigrating, and against everything I believe in." Sarver did acknowledge the use of the N-word many years ago. On one occasion, a player used the N-word to describe the importance of having each other's back. Sarver said through his attorneys, "I responded by saying I wouldn't say N. I would say that they were in the foxhole together. An assistant coach approached me a short time after and told me that I shouldn't say the word, even if I was quoting someone else. I immediately apologized and haven't said it ever again. The N-word was never part of the vocabulary." So that's the background. Now, after a 10-month investigation into the situation by an independent law firm that the NBA commissioned, the NBA handed out his ruling this week. The NBA decided to suspend him for 1 year and fined him $10 million. Now, what we want to do is we want to quickly play what Adam Silver had to say as far as him giving the reasoning behind the decision of the NBA. So take a listen to what he had to say here.
Second row in the middle, Howard.
Howard Beck, Sports Illustrated. Hey, Adam.
Hey, Howard.
Two questions here. The report, the law firm concluded that the things that Robert Sarver did and said were, quote, without animus. So the first thing, I just wonder if you agree with that assessment. But secondly, I think everybody in this room would agree that if any of us had said or done even a small percentage of the things that Robert Sarver has been shown to have said and done, we would be fired. And I assume that anybody working at Olympic Tower, if they had done even a percentage of that, would be fired. And anybody who worked for any of your 30 teams would easily be fired. Why would there be a different standard? And understanding the complications of removing an owner, why should there be a different standard for the owner of an NBA team than there would be for everybody who works in this league?
Fair question. I don't say, you alluded to it, Howard, that there are particular rights here of someone who owns an NBA team as opposed to somebody who's an employee. The equivalent of a $10 million fine and a 1-year suspension, I don't know how to measure that against a job, but I have certain authority by virtue of this organization, and that's what I exercised. I don't have the right to take away his team. I don't want to rest on that neat legal point because, of course, there could be a process to take away someone's team in this league. It's very involved, and I ultimately made the decision that it didn't rise to that level. But to me, the consequences are severe here on Mr. Sarver. Reputationally, it's hard to even make those comparisons to somebody who commits an inappropriate act in the workplace in somewhat of an anonymous fashion versus what is a huge public issue now around this person. So there's no neat answer here. I mean, it's other than owning property, the rights that come with owning an NBA team, how that's set up within our Constitution, what it would take to remove that team, from his control is a very involved process, and it's different than holding a job. It just is when you actually own a team. It's just a very different proposition.
So you heard what the commissioner had to say. And after he made those comments, prominent voices in the NBA took to social media to voice a displeasure with that decision. And one of them was LeBron James. So what I want to do is quickly read what LeBron had to say. Read through the Sarver stories a few times now. I got to be honest, our league definitely got this wrong. I don't need to explain why. Y'all read the stories and decide for yourself. I said it before and I'm going to say it again. There's no place in this league for that kind of behavior. I love this league and deeply respect our leadership, but this isn't right. There's no place for misogyny, sexism, and racism in any workplace. Don't matter if you own a team or play for the team. We hold our league up as an example of values, and this ain't it. So those were LeBron James's comments. Let me quickly read what Chris Paul had to say, who is a member of the Phoenix Suns. Like many others, I reviewed the report. I was and am horrified and disappointed by what I read. This conduct, especially towards women, is unacceptable and must never be repeated. He continued on. I am of the view that the sanctions fell short in truly addressing what we can all agree was atrocious behavior. My heart goes out to all the people that were affected by it. So those were the things that LeBron James and Chris Paul had to say about the situation there. So you guys already have, the full backstory. So here are my thoughts on this entire situation. First of all, how unfortunate that Chris Paul finds himself in a situation like this. Again, because he was also a member of the Clippers when that Donald Sterling drama originally broke and erupted basically all over the media. Now, given that we know the allegations are true, right? Otherwise, the NBA, I don't think, would have been able to take any action, right? So let's just say the allegations are true. In fact, I think there's absolutely, there's no room for this in the NBA or anywhere else. Let's not make this about the NBA. This type of behavior, should not be allowed anywhere, in any work environment, any type of, co-working space, professional space, social space. This type of stuff is absolutely a no-go, right? Like, I don't even know how another way to say it. That's the first thing. The second thing is this, and the more disturbing part about all of this is this. I don't understand why some people just don't know how to behave themselves and comport themselves in the right way. Like, this type of stuff happens all too often. What's wrong with, like, why can't most people just be decent with one another? Why do we got to go through all of this? Why do people have to behave like this? And as far as the ruling, I would have liked to see a stiffer penalty, if I'm being honest with you. Although he was given 1 year, maybe 2 to 3 years would have probably been better. Now, from what I understand, that was the maximum the NBA could have fined him, based on what could have levied against him based on what Adam Silver said there. And I'm sure that if they did something even more, what's not intense, but something more drastic, maybe there may have been some legal ramifications, and maybe the Suns owner would have had to take some, legal action against the NBA. Who knows? Maybe he will in the future. No one knows, right? No one knows. But based on what Adam Silver said, it sounds like they did all they could, right? He also spoke about the fact that we're not just talking about removing an employee, we're removing an owner. Some people may say, but then how were you able to dismiss Donald Sterling? I don't really know, right? I don't know all the legal, procedural things steps that need to take place for them to take drastic action. I'm just, giving my thoughts on what they did, and I think they could have done more. But my larger point is, this is absolutely ridiculous. In 2022, we find ourselves here. Like, it's total madness. These are my thoughts and opinions. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and we catch y'all on the next episode.